Have you ever felt like that you tricked your department into accepting you, and at one moment someone will realize it? If you are a PhD candidate, I'm sure many of you have experienced this feeling for the first time in your first year when you took part in a conference or a seminar surrounded by lots of other candidates and professors who seemed to be perfect and spoke with fluent brilliance. If you had this feeling, you are not alone. This feeling has a name, which is called imposter syndrome. And today I'm going to talk about it, unpack it, and give you some tips in order to tackle it so that it doesn't get the control of your confidence in your hands. Hi, beautiful soul. Welcome to our space, to our channel, where your truth is never too real and your dreams are never too big. I'm Dr. Jasmine, and here we talk about the quiet feelings that women usually carry. Imposter syndrome is not a usual self doubt. It's a deep, persistent feeling of self doubt which keeps telling you that you will be recognized as fraud very soon. And the first time in the 1970s, scientists started to do research on women, especially successful women, and they found that it's not just limited to specific gender, background, or profession. But in academia, this feeling, imposter syndrome, is more common. Do you know why? Because of the nature of academic life. When you are in the academia, all the time, everything leads to the next thing. Every publication leads to the next one. Every fellowship leads to the next one. If you are in an endless chase, it never ends. Because of that, it's very common to start to doubt yourself again and again when you think you don't finally achieve something that you say is the end. You never get to the end because there is no end in research and science. For PhD students, it even becomes more powerful and more torturing sometimes. And it has a reason. Most of the PhD projects are involved with long hours, long months, and even years of isolation. You have to work alone on your project. Long hours in the library, in the laboratory, doing research, and it keeps you away from real contact, real connection with people. You see that people celebrate Christmas, you are at the library studying. You see that people are on holiday. You see your friends post on Instagram, or you hear about the fun they have while you have to focus at what you're reading at the computer for all the night. It's not that easy. And this isolation makes that self doubt speak louder than your confidence. On the other side, you're constantly getting evaluated. During these years, you're in everything you do assessed and measured. When you're constantly measured, you're under lots of pressure. Everything you say is measured. Every new idea you have is critiqued. Everything you write gets edited. Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe more. So This amount of assessment and critique, even if you're the strongest person in the world, affects you. Keep it in your mind that comparison is added to that. You compare yourself with other people, with a colleague or with another candidate who has just published in a prestigious journal, and then you say, wow, I am behind. You're not behind. You haven't seen the struggle that the other people are also bearing and struggles that the others are experiencing in their life. Let me talk about myself. I learned a lot when I went to the seminars of my own professor because he's a really knowledgeable person in his field. I just compared myself to him and I said, oh my God, I don't know anything in this field. He speaks very professionally about it. He knows everything we ask him, while I'm totally, even I doubted my previous knowledge. You know, I didn't see it at all. Yes, that's right. A professor is a professor. But that feeling was killing me. I couldn't ignore the temptation of learning, the temptation of not missing any sessions simultaneously. It's affected my self confidence. One day I made a good decision. I remember, I think it was a Monday, and I had an appointment with him. I decided to share this feeling with him, and he fortunately listened to me well. And finally, I really appreciate what he told me. He told me, don't compare yourself to me. You're a novice. You have just started. I have spent many years studying, doing research, giving lectures on these topics. So it's a mistake to compare yourself to me. Give yourself time to learn. So don't fall into the trap of comparison. You cannot compare yourself to other people because you're on your own path, on your own way, and everybody has his or her own journey. Don't forget that it is a myth. It is just a fallacy, a common fallacy that real brilliance produces effortlessly. Academic work, research is a process that is slow, uncertain, and energy taking, energy consuming. Don't forget that you are working deeply and meaningfully in a system that sometimes forgets vulnerability. Even some Nobel Prize winners have confessed that they had this feeling. For example, Maya Angelou once said that I have written 11 books, and every time I'm writing a book, I say, they will find me out now. They're going to find me out. So you see, if you have self doubt and imposter syndrome as a PhD candidate, congratulations. You are on the very normal path. So the next time that there was a quiet voice in your head that said, or maybe a loud one that said, you don't belong to this university or this workplace. You're just so lucky. They didn't understand that you are not knowledgeable enough, or it was just because of timing, or because they didn't have the right evaluation about you, or whatever. The first step is to be aware of it. Be aware of this voice and remind yourself that even the most successful researchers and professors have faced lots of doubts while they were doing their research. They have written lots of pages and have torn them away. They have had lots of hypotheses that have got rejected. Persistency is the key to success. I have never seen a person who has been successful in the first effort. So continue moving. You do your work, you do your best, you're making an effort, and this is a process, gradually, little by little, like a building that gets built by putting bricks on top of each other. You finally see the building, you finally see a beautiful edifice. When you get tired, think about that edifice. Don't let yourself to get stuck in the exhaustion or tiredness of putting the bricks on top of each other. You might put some bricks and break them and then repeat those rows. That's usual. That's the very, very common things we do in research. It happened to me a lot. I remember I spent 6 months writing one part of my thesis. I was really excited, but because I was not experienced enough, I had put lots of information in just 65 or 70 pages, which was totally irrelevant to my research. When I got critiqued, it was very sad. I remember I cried for 1 week. I couldn't continue. But after that, I decided to restart. It was really difficult. I never forget that week when I cried a lot. But don't forget that this builds you. It builds your character. It builds your future career. It makes a stronger person out of you. It makes a professional person out of you, a real researcher. Reframe mistakes as data. When you get rejected, when you don't get published, you have collected some information about something that doesn't work. So, in these situations, remind yourself that every successful scholar has a long list of unpublished and unsuccessful research and articles. It's important that when you fail forward and you don't get hindered and you don't go backward. It's important that you stand up again. So when you fail, repeat to yourself that I have failed forward. I have understood that this information in this area of studies doesn't work, and it's a very good experience. A helpful way for me was spending some moments every day to write down something good, something you feel proud during that day of yourself. For example, today I did my physical exercise for 1 hour, for 5 minutes at least, for whatever. Today, although I was tired, I took part in the seminar. Although I didn't sleep at night well, I was working on my project. I could wake up early in the morning to take part in a conference. When you write them down every day, after a while, when you get tired or you feel your self-doubt is coming up, you go back to your notebook and you see your notes. It helps a lot. Every successful scholar has faced it, and you are a capable scholar. You're a capable person. You are not frauds. You are just moving on the way of scholarship, and you have something to add to your field of studies. You're adding persistence. you are maybe connecting different disciplines or many other things. So keep studying, keep going, keep publishing, keep reading, keep taking part in seminars, keep going to conferences, and keep showing up. I'm sure finally you will feel proud of yourself. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, drop them down below. I would love to hear from you. See you in the next video.